Hey, my name's Fernie, and I'm so glad that you are joining me this week as we wrestle with a question that I really think we should be asking more often. Should we copy things that quote unquote successful churches do, or should we figure out what works for us in our own context? So let's tackle this. One of my favorite features on my Apple devices is the copy paste feature. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me explain. Sometimes my here and now coaching social media posts can get a little bit long, and if I write it out on my phone, it can get a little complicated. It's not always easy to get the spacing right or to start a new paragraph, right? It's a little complicated. For some of you, I'm sure it's easy, but I'm a millennial and I'm starting to not know certain things. Anyway, when I'm done writing my post on my laptop, remember, when I'm done writing my post, all I have to do is highlight the text that I want to copy and then hit the button copy. And then I open up my phone, I get on social media, I click on start a new post, and I just hit paste. And it automatically pastes everything from my laptop onto my phone, exactly the way I had it formatted, like everything is the exact same. It makes it so much easier. I can copy something on one device and paste it on another device, and I'm done that quickly. Now, if you didn't know that, you're welcome. That's your lesson for this week. Now, I bring this up because I believe that when we look at ministry, we sometimes want it to work the same way. We want to take the ideas that are working at one church and just copy and paste them and paste that idea in our own churches and expect things to go smoothly. But let me ask you, if you've ever done this, how did it work out? Did you have the same success as that other church? Are you as large as that other church now? The reality is that copy pasting ministry from one church to another, while it may sometimes work, I'll give you that, more often than not, it won't work. And it's not because one church has more money or more people or more resources. It doesn't work because the two churches are usually in two very different contexts with very different needs. Which means that just because it worked at one place, it's not a guarantee that it'll work at the other. So let me give you an example of this. When I was younger, I was part of a launch team for a Spanish-speaking worship service. Now, we did all the right things. We had a really good team, a really good pastor, but for some reason, attendance wasn't increasing. And that's when I had a brilliant idea. I talked to my pastor, and I told him that if we could just get LED lights installed and maybe a fog machine like the church down the street, people would start showing up to our service because we also have good music and good preaching and good everything else, right? Well, in the end, he agreed to the LED lights, but not the fog machine, which I guess I'm not surprised. Now, can you guess what happened after we installed the lights? If your guess was that nothing happened, you're actually wrong. No, we didn't grow like I had hoped we would. We actually decreased in attendance because there was an older couple there that didn't like the lights once we put them in. So why is it that the exact same things worked in one place but not the other? The answer is context. Now in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 20, Paul says this, "To the Jews I became a Jew in order to gain Jews. To those under the law I became as one under the law, though I myself am not under the law, so that I might gain those under the law. Those outside the law I became as one outside the law, though I am not outside of God's law, but am within Christ, so that I might gain those outside the law. To the weak I became weak, so that I might gain the weak. I have become all things to all people, that I might by all means save some. I do it all for the sake of the gospel, so that I might become a partner in it." Now, I'm not going to lie. I struggled with this scripture for a long time. I felt like Paul was not being authentic by being different things for different people, and then one day a light bulb just went off. It just clicked. See, Paul understood that people's context matters. That's when the gospel is that when the gospel is contextualized to where a person is and where they live and their social matrix, the gospel becomes transformative. It begins to mean something deeper. So Paul makes it very clear. How I disciple one community has to be different from how I disciple another community because context matters. He doesn't take what worked with one community and use the same thing in another one. He contextualizes for the sake of people giving their lives to God. Now, friends, I know how tempting it is to look at what quote unquote successful churches are doing and want to just copy paste their ministries into our context, hoping that it will have the same effect on us as it did on them. But just remember what Paul is saying. Context matters. It really does. Now, if you need help with figuring out how to contextualize ministry, or you have some ideas that you've seen in other places that you really want to contextualize to your own setting, I want to invite you to reach out to me at coachingforhereandnow@gmail.com, or visit our website, hereandnowcoaching.org, and I would love to help you in any way that I can.